أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Indeed, this Quran guides to that which is most upright. Surah Al-Isra. We live in an age where information is everywhere. With a few taps on a screen, we can learn almost anything. We quite literally have all of human history at our fingertips. Yet despite having more information than any generation before us, many people still struggle to find direction. This is because information and guidance are not the same thing. The people who fought Imam Hussein alayhi salam were not ignorant. Many knew who he was. Many had heard the Prophet, his words regarding him and his brother Imam al-Hassan being the masters of the youth of paradise. Some had even written letters inviting Imam Hussein to Kufa. Their tragedy was not a lack of information, it was a lack of guidance. Karbala teaches us that knowing the truth is not enough. The real challenge is having the courage, having the sincerity, and having the humility to follow it. As we begin tonight's program, let us ask Allah not only for knowledge, but for guidance. Not only for understanding, but for the strength to act upon what we know. With that, we begin the recitation of the Holy Quran. Please let us welcome Brother Khalid Badr. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم. إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم. لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين. اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
Ahsant. Brothers and sisters, it is easy to be proud of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The harder question is whether Imam Hussein would be proud of us. Every year we gather, we cry, we remember, and we declare our love for Ahlul Bayt. But Muharram is not only a commemoration, it is an invitation to become more truthful, more courageous, more sincere, and more committed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The followers of Imam Hussein are not distinguished by what they wear or what they call themselves. They are distinguished by their character, their principles, and their willingness to stand for what is right. As we listen to tonight's lecture, let us not ask only what happened in Karbala. Let us ask, what does Karbala demand from me? And with that, we will begin tonight's lecture. Please let us welcome Sheikh Mohamed Islami. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبا القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة غريب مظلوم كربلاء يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا بل نتبع ما ألفينا عليه آباءنا أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعقلون شيئا ولا يهتدون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. For the hastening of the reappearance of our beloved صاحب العصر والزمان صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. And for the acceptance of our deeds and of our deeds for in these days, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. In our pursuit, continuing our pursuit to recognize who is the intelligent, who is the intellectual, and who is the rational, we have come to the next sign and the next measurement to measure ourselves to see whether we are rational, whether we are intellectual, if we are that kind of intellectual person that would be able to join the army of Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura, rather than alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah, rather than shifting to the army of Umar ibn Sa'd. We said that we can evaluate ourselves. We could evaluate ourselves with certain criterias. We mentioned a couple of them, and today we will mention another criteria from the Quran itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the people, or the messengers of Allah have addressed the people that they were guiding, asking them, إذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا بل نتبع ما ألفينا عليه آباءنا. When the prophets, when their messengers told them to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follow the teachings of Allah, they said, we will follow what our parents and our forefathers have taught us, or the culture or the norms that we had from our forefathers. Then the Quran, it comments on this saying. It says, أَوْلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. What if their forefathers were people who did not have any intellect when they were doing that thing? Those rituals, those cultures, those norms that they had left for them, what if those were based on things that are unrational, things that are unwise? What if that was the case and they were following them on that thing? In Islam, the Quran, it advises us and it encourages us to use our ration and use our intellect when we want to decide to do something or to adhere something, even if it's the teachings from our forefathers. Yesterday, or the lessons or the sessions before, we discussed about benefiting from the elderly, benefiting from their experiences, benefiting from their teachings. But that's only when their teachings and their experiences are aligned with rationality, are aligned with what wisdom and intellect would tell us. If we follow somebody without asking, if we follow somebody without any critique, without any critical thinking, we are following that person blindly. For example, if I wanted to set a map or set a destination in my navigating app in my phone, for example, if you're using Google Maps, you set a destination. I'm going to so-and-so destination, street number and street name. It's going to guide you to your destination and tell you to go left and right or straight or turn around the roundabout, return, do a U-turn, in those kinds of directions. If you're not paying attention to the streets yourselves, if you're not paying attention to the directions that you're driving in, and you're just relying on the map, and suddenly your phone goes out of power, you won't be able to figure your way back home because you didn't figure the route out yourself. You didn't look at the streets. You didn't look at the directions. You were relying 100% on the map and on your phone to show you the direction. You didn't use your own eyes to see your way. The same way about seeing our way in our life. If we're relying 100% on another person to guide us, what we should do with our lives, what we should do with our career, then in that case, if that person leaves us, or if we don't have another person to tell us what to do, we will be left blind, not knowing what to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, it guides us, it teaches us to follow people only when it's aligned with rational. Sometimes following and imitation and seeking advice and guidance from others, it's usually advised. So especially if that person or those others are expertise in their field. So human beings as a social animal, as they describe it, we are a social being. We socialize with different people and we get our needs from the society. We have a lot of specific needs nowadays, especially nowadays that everything has a lot of, it's very comforting life right now. We have a lot of accommodations right now. And we also have a lot of people who have expertise to provide those accommodations. We have a lot of people who are specialized in providing us with those necessities that we rely on. Food, we rely on health, we rely on engineering, we rely on IT nowadays. So if we wanted to seek expertise in all of those fields, to become independent from any other person, that would be impossible for us, because it would take a whole lifetime to be an expert in one field alone, let alone to be able to provide all of those expertise for ourselves by ourselves. So the most rational thing is to refer to the experts and to follow them in their expertise. If I'm ill, if I'm sick, I go to a specific person, to an expert in medicine, and ask him for his advice regarding my condition. If I want to provide food for my family, I refer or I get food from the market, which is provided from the agricultural engineer who has expertise on how to produce good produce or provide good food with good quality. I don't have that expertise. The same thing in religious matters. The same thing when it comes to knowing what is right and wrong in religion. We seek guidance from people who have dedicated their lifetimes in studying the Quran, studying the Hadith, studying logics, studying on the ways where they could extract the ahkam, the rulings of Islam from those sources and extract detailed rulings, not only simple rulings or general rulings. No, they extract specific rulings from those reliable sources. So I, as a person, even if you have general knowledge about religion, it would be very difficult for you. You would have to spend your whole lifetime dedicating yourself to this knowledge to be able to extract these rulings in this depth. This is why in certain matters it is advised or it is compulsory upon us to go and refer to expertise in these fields, to refer to the religious authorities, to the maraja, to the jurists regarding these specific rulings in Islam or these specific teachings of Islam. But there are certain things that even the maraja, we cannot follow them in those things. The maraja could only advise us things that are regarding the rulings, the do's and don't do's in Islam, or maybe even the morals and the ethics of Islam. But regarding the basic beliefs, the basic principle beliefs of Islam, that's something that we should completely rely on our own logic and our own intellect. For example, our parents, the scholars, the jurists, even the greatest marja' cannot tell you to believe in Allah. The belief in Allah, the belief in God is something that you should rely on by yourself. You should navigate that field or navigate the proofs of believing into a God, believing in a one God by yourself. You will have to be able to prove that on your own. You can't rely on somebody else to prove that for you. You can't imitate somebody else in believing in the oneness of Allah, of the Creator. Or the following of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallu ala Muhammad. Or following the wilayah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the ma'sumin, the infallible imams. We cannot rely on our local customs or our community's customs or on our fathers and our forefathers just because they were Shi'is, that we are Shi'i just because of them. No, we have to know that through evidence, through proof, through the matter of Ghadir. What was Ghadir for? What did the Holy Prophet announce during Ghadir? What was his specific wordings? What does those wordings mean? What did Rasulullah mean by wilayah when he chose Imam Ali and said he is your wali? These things we as a Shi'i should know it off by heart. We should know them ourselves. These are the basics and the fundamentals of our beliefs. We cannot rely on the scholar who is speaking on the pulpit. We cannot rely on the marja' who is studying Islam, because the maximum that they could tell you is tell you what the Quran has said about Islam, what the Hadith has said about Islam. But that Quran, who has brought that Quran to you? Who is that Quran attributed to? To Allah. If we can't agree that Allah, if we can't bring proof that Allah exists, the word of the marja', the word of the jurist would be of no benefit for you. The same thing about the Hadith of Rasulullah. The same thing about the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. We should prove that these are legitimate beliefs ourselves. We should have proof upon those, then refer to the marja' to see what those sources have taught us. So this is one of the things that we cannot follow anybody or imitate anybody on. Other things that we cannot imitate people is logic necessities. Logic necessities like the smaller, or the part is smaller than the co-part. Or, for example, 2 plus 2 equals 4. A simple example of logic necessities. These are things that are basic things in logic. You cannot bring proof for those. These are basic or obvious things in logic. So these are things that we cannot also follow or imitate somebody else on. And other matters are the subjects upon which the rulings go upon. For example, the marja' tells you that khamr, or an intoxicating beverage, is haram. So to distinguish which beverage is khamr or not khamr is upon us. We are the ones who should see with our senses that this liquid that is within this cup is either water, which is the jurist or the ahkam would say it is halal, or if I distinguish with my senses, I see with my eyes, I smell with my nose, I see that this is not water, this is something else. Or I distinguish that this is, wal-'iyadha billah, an intoxicating liquid. In that case, that ruling would apply to this liquid, that this is haram for me to drink. So distinguishing whether a liquid, in this example, is an intoxicating liquid or a halal or pure water, it is upon me to do that. I cannot rely on somebody else's senses for them to distinguish what this water is or what this liquid is. So these three things we cannot imitate, we cannot follow others in, but other fields of expertise, it is expected from us, it is logical upon us to follow people regarding those things. So following the others, especially following our forefathers, is not always the go-to for us as human beings. We should only follow our elderlies where it is rational. Not following rationality, not following intellect would put us in the trap of the same trap that the followers of Umar ibn Sa'd and the followers of Muawiyah fell into. They say during the battle of Siffin, when Imam Ali was going towards the Levant to put Muawiyah back in his place because Muawiyah was causing mischief on the borders of Iraq. So he went to battle Muawiyah. Amr ibn al-As came to Muawiyah and told him that Imam Ali is approaching to us and he's getting closer and closer to us very quickly. We should do something about it. Muawiyah told him that we will wait until Friday, and during the Friday prayers we will call upon the people to go and battle Imam Ali. Amr ibn al-As said it's too late. By Friday Imam Ali would be here, he'd be at the gates of Damascus, and we would be done. So he said, what can we do? He said, I'll tell you what to do. Gather the people on the same day, which was on a Wednesday. Gather the people on a Wednesday and call upon them, tell them it is the Friday prayer, and give them the Friday sermon on a Wednesday. So it comes with the name. It says the Friday prayer, the Friday sermon. So the people who Muawiyah called upon to attend that prayer didn't even think to themselves once that this is a Friday prayer. Why should we be praying it on a Wednesday? So they didn't refer to their logic, to their intellect, to distinguish whether this is a good thing to do or a wrong thing to do. In another example, they said that one day, a person in the same time, in the same period of time, a person was traveling from Iraq to Damascus. He came with a camel with him and settled in one place, in one of the places where it was close to Damascus. Suddenly, one of the local people over there came and took that camel and claimed that the camel was his. And then a fight and a discourse occurred between these two. The Iraqi person was swearing that this is my camel, and the Shami, the person from the Levant, was swearing that this is my camel. The wording that they were using, in Arabic, we have multiple names for one object. From different angles and different aspects, that object would have a different name. Especially camels, that they were the main means of transportation in those times. Like you could refer to them as the Honda Civics of those days. Everybody had them, or the majority of people have them at least. I don't know what your biases are towards Asian cars, but the majority of the people would go either with a Corolla or a Honda Civic nowadays. So those times people would have camels. They would ride camels, they would know all the aspects of camels, and they would give different names to different kinds of camels. So a female camel would be called Naqa. Or a younger camel would be called a Fasil, a camel that has just been born. Or camels in different ages would have different names. So this Shami, this person from the Levant, the local person in Damascus, took the camel and took the Iraqi person with him to court, to Muawiyah, to judge between these two. And he told the judge, who was Muawiyah himself, he told him that this camel, this Naqa, which means the female camel, belongs to me. Where the Iraqi swore, he said, I swear that this is not his. This camel belongs to me. This Jamal belongs to me. The judge or Muawiyah went upon the witnesses. He said, do you have any witnesses? The Iraqi didn't have anybody in that country. He wasn't a local. He said, I don't have any witness to prove that this camel belongs to me. And they didn't have registrations in those times to prove the ownership. So the Shami went and took the people from his own clan, the people from his own village. He brought about 30, 40 people to witness for him that yes, this Naqa, this female camel belongs to this guy. Before Muawiyah, he judged that this camel, in this case, this guy has proof and he has witnesses. In this case, this camel goes to this person from the Levant, the local person from Damascus. The Iraqi objected. He said, Muawiyah, I'm telling you that this camel, it's not a she camel, it's a he camel. And this Shami person, he swore, and his witnesses swore that it is a female camel. So go look for yourself and investigate. Is it a she camel or a he camel? So Muawiyah said, the judgment is done. So I give out my ruling, and then you should obey to that ruling. But before the Iraqi person went out, Muawiyah called him back. He told him, come back, I have something. I have a message for you to take to Iraq to Imam Ali. Tell Imam Ali that I have 100,000 people who do not distinguish between a female camel and a male camel, and I'm bringing them to battle you. He was threatening Imam Ali that my people who are following me follow me blindly. So whatever I tell them, they will do. And truly, brothers and sisters, ignorance and jahl is the worst weapon of mass destruction you could find in history. Jahl and ignorance in a society could ruin that society from within without one bullet hitting that country or that place. So we should be rational, we should be intellectual. The companions of Imam Hussein, they were rational against all the odds. They were rational against all the things that were going on in those times. The majority of the people of those times, they went and aligned with Yazid, they aligned with Umar ibn Sa'd. Only a few of those majority stayed with Imam Hussein. One of those companions who detached from the majority, he separated himself from the majority and joined Imam Hussein, was Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Hurr, I don't know if I've mentioned his name before in the previous sermons. Hurr was the first commander of the army of Umar ibn Sa'd to confront Imam Hussein with his 1,000 strong army and keep Imam Hussein and prevent Imam Hussein from entering Kufa. Imam Hussein was forced to go and travel northward towards the plains of Karbala, where he ended up at the end, just to avoid the boundary or the obstacle that Hurr had created for him. But on the day of Ashura, when Hurr saw that Umar ibn Sa'd's intention is not to come to a truce, is not to come to a deal with Imam Hussein, but his intention is to kill Imam Hussein and to kill his household, that was when Hurr had to make the difficult decision between staying with Umar ibn Sa'd and being with the victorious army, or go with Imam Hussein, be martyred, but at least keep and save his faith. Because he knew in his knowledge, in his belief, that Imam Hussein is the righteous in this army. Imam Hussein is the grandson of Rasulullah. He cannot be on the wrong side. At that moment, when Hurr made this decision, he went with his sons. He secretly escaped from the camp of Umar ibn Sa'd and went to the camp of Imam Hussein. When Hurr came towards Imam Hussein, he came towards Imam Hussein very humbly, in a very sorry manner. When he came to the tents of Imam Hussein, from afar Imam Hussein asked, "Who is this man who is coming to me?" Hurr said, "I'm the person who delayed you. I'm the person who prevented you from reaching Kufa. I am the person who led you to end up in this position that you are. I am Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi, and I'm seeking repentance, and I'm seeking for you to forgive me, O Aba Abdullah. Will you forgive me?" Imam Hussein told him, "In tubtum yatub Allah alayk." If you seek forgiveness, if you do tawbah and repentance, Allah will forgive you. Come, O Hurr, come enter our tent and sit and rest after this heat of the noon time. Hurr said, "Ana laka farisan khayrun min laka rajila, O Aba Abdullah. If I am a warrior on the horse, if I'm a cavalier on my horse, I will be able to benefit you more than if I enter the tent or if I dismount my horse." Imam Hussein gave him permission to go to the battlefield. When Hurr went to the battlefield, he spoke upon his people, his own army which he led. He preached upon them and told them, "This is the grandson of Rasulullah. How can you kill him in this manner?" The people didn't listen to Hurr. They attacked Hurr. Hurr fought with a lot of them and beat a lot of them and killed them, until Hurr was himself killed and he was struck by the enemies. When Hurr fell to the ground, Imam Hussein came upon his body and told him, "O Hurr, this is a great name, a perfect name that your mother chose for you. Truly you are a free man in this world and in the hereafter." Hurr's body was left on the plains of Karbala until the afternoon of Ashura. At the same time, when the bodies of Aba Abdullah and his companions and his family were left on the plains of Karbala, On that time, Umar ibn Sa'd commanded his army, or commanded 10 of his ridesmen, to ride with their horses on the bodies of the followers of Imam Hussein and crush the bodies. He said, "Who are the horsemen who will do this task?" 10 people rose and they said, "We're up to the task, Ya Amir." When they wanted to do that, Bani Riyaha, who was the tribe of Hur, they bared out their swords and told, "Oh Umar, we will not allow you to crush the body of our tribesmen." They took the body of Hur and separated the body of Hur with the rest of the martyrs and took him to their own tribe. And they buried Hur in their own tribe. But the bodies of Imam Hussein and his companions were left on the plains of Karbala, with the horse trampling on their chest, in a way that people from afar could hear the cracking of the bones of the chest of the companions of Imam Hussein. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. O Allah, for the madlumiyya, for the oppression of Imam Hussein, please hasten the reappearance of our beloved Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman. O Allah, let our Imam of our time be pleased of us. O Allah, let us be his companions, and let our children and our lineage be on his path. O Allah, for the blessings of Imam Hussein, keep our countries and our region safe. Keep all the mourners of Imam Hussein, all the Shi'as and followers of Ahlul Bayt safe in these days. على أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ومن مات على الهدى والإيمان. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
We will now be taking a short break, and then we will proceed with the Arabic lecture and majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.